is Nina. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have you ever had that trouble where you got a brand new stamp and it just didn't want to stamp well? Well, sometimes you may need to prep the surface of your stamps to go ahead and get better impressions. Here you can see I have this brand new stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp this down onto my paper. And you can see here I've got some areas that just didn't stamp right. It just doesn't look good. So a couple of things that I like to do is, one, I like to go ahead and clean my stamps before I use them. So here I'm taking my Hero Art scrubber pad, you can see it's well used, and I'm going to go ahead and scrub this stamp with the Hero Art scrubber pad. Now this scrubber pad is prepped with some Hero Art's Ultra Clean. It's a nice stamp cleaner that works really well for cleaning off dye inks, and that's what I use inside of my scrubber pad. You could spray it with water if you don't have the Ultra Clean, but I do recommend getting it. Now I'm going to go ahead and rub that Ultra Clean all over this little stamp just to buff it a little bit more. And now I'll go ahead and bring in my ink. So once I ink up the stamp and press it down onto the paper, you can see I get a much better impression. And that splotchiness you see, that will even out as it dries into the paper. Now another way I like to prep my stamps is I like to take clear ink. So ink that you would use for heat embossing. So here I'm going to take this Simon Says Stamp clear ink, and I'll go ahead and put this on top of my new stamp. Again, this is a new stamp that I haven't used. This is another leaf from that stamp set that I have there on the left-hand side. I'm going to take my dry rag and I'm going to rub that ink all over this stamp. And that's going to give the ink that I put onto this stamp something to grab onto. And you can see here it gives a nice, beautiful impression when I go ahead and stamp down onto the paper using that Versamark ink that I had applied over top. Now I want to show you that scrubber pad once again. Here I'm taking my new stamp. I have not used this one yet. I'm going to go ahead and scrub this all over that scrubber pad. And again, I have this prepped with the Ultra Clean, and that's a great way to go ahead and get your stamps prepped. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my rag, rub this all over the stamp, get it nice and buffed up, and then I'll take my ink up my stamp, and then I'll go ahead and press that down onto the paper. And you can see I get a really clean, crisp impression when I do this, because that cleaning that we did onto the stamp help get any residue that was left on the stamp from the manufacturing process and just really get the stamp seasoned. So that way it stamps perfectly when you go ahead to use it on a finished project. Here I've got the leaves, and I just wanted to show you quickly how after we've prepped those stamps with our different processes, those leaves and flowers stamp perfectly onto our paper. And again, you can use whichever one works best for you. So I hope this has helped you get some tips and tricks on how you can prep your stamps using a couple of simple supplies that you probably have on hand. And hopefully this will help you make sure that you get perfect impressions on all of your stamping from here forward. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more weekly inspiration, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.